Alright, and hello again, everybody. Welcome on back to our Factorio Let's Play. I'm so used to doing shapes that I almost just said shapes without really thinking, but yeah, so today we're gonna just pick right up where we left off in the last one. So again, as always, hopefully everyone is doing well, enjoying themselves. I'm just kinda hanging out, trying to relax, and maybe do some good work today. I was like, my biggest thing is I want to get down into getting a better backlog so that way, I'm not constantly just, uh, doing things and being like, oh yeah, that's right, I have to be able to do this because, it gives me more time to, if I do have a bigger backlog, I have more free time to do things the way that I want to do, like in real life and so on and so forth. So just kind of working on that. And yeah, so that's kind of my plan for right now. Still trying to figure out what I want to do for another game, to have another, just time slot on here. That way, there's more content for me to release and so on and so forth. But, it'll just come with time and eventually get there. Just got to relax and just enjoy doing things while I can at a more casual pace, and things will kind of snowball from there. I honestly never thought that I would, be able to keep up with as much stuff as I'm at now. I was like, I remember multiple times I've tried to start like tried to start a blog and do work on there, and I've never really gotten myself to do that. It normally just ends up being me starting and then never continuing, never following through. So it's nice to, actually know that I have followed through at least so far. And, once I hold myself to a more consistent schedule and all that fun stuff, it's nice to be able to, it's nice to know that I actually, like, can do it. And, especially with everything going on, just, in general and life as a whole, it's hard to find motivation. And so obviously that's my main goal for right now, is just finding motivation and, trying to enjoy things while I can and making sure that I'm providing good entertainment for people that, actually want to watch. And yeah, so like I said, my entire goal is just to kind of put out more wholesome content and hopefully be a positive change in the industry that, we've seen a lot of issues kind of arise between, like I mentioned before, like sexual assault and then just even more like general toxicity. It's like I try not to, be a toxic person, which I think is always appreciated. And you have a lot of people that either just don't care or don't control it, and then we get a lot of just kind of really bad situations. And so it's nice to be able to have a goal to work towards. And I think that's why, this style of game works so well too, because I know that I'm going to constantly have stuff that I need to do and like want to get done and so on and so forth. So like speaking of, I think the next research I want to get is automation. Obviously I'll still need to craft some more red packs, but how many do we need? We only need 10. So I just need to grab some more iron. We'll make 10 and then put that into the machine so that way we can go ahead and get started on progressing there. And yeah, so we'll go and start this next row here. That way we just have like a one gap. And I think I'll just set you there. And then all we need to do is bring it on up. And you know what? Since we don't have a lot of resources right now, we'll just go ahead and connect there for the moment. And now you can get that, and you can get that. So that'll be done in just a few moments. And so let's see here. So our stone furnaces craft at 1 speed, and we can do... Where are they at? So it takes 3.2 seconds to do 1 iron plate. 1, 2, 3, and yeah. So when you do that, transport belts can hold 15 items per second. So obviously we're going to need to make our iron production a little bit better to be able to support things. But there's actually automation going for us, and you know, honestly, I never do anything for I never do anything lighting wise. I never feel like there's really much of a point for some reason. Just because, you know, at nighttime, especially since I don't tend to fight against the aliens, I normally just am fine with it being dark at nighttime. But let's see, so now we can go ahead and make ourselves assembly machines. And luckily, these are all filling up a little bit. There we go. So our next goal is gonna be probably expanding our copper. I think we should just focus on expanding our iron first. I wonder if this is actually in equilibrium right now. I think it's just slightly behind. Because, you know, it tends to stick somewhere around here, but it's slowly inching down. And I think it might just be because of the distance that, you know, this has to travel before it gets through. So let's see, what if we do that, and we can just... We need more electrical poles. And then now, since we're going up through here, we can actually add them onto the right side too. There we go. And I just need one more. And there we go. So we'll do that. Then go ahead and reconnect that when I get a chance. And now it's nice to have a good surplus of you know, iron and belts and stuff like that. But yeah, so this, oh, well, it doesn't help that I stopped it for a little bit, but you know, this definitely could use some more iron production. So what we do is we'll come up and around, and then we'll bring this up. And then, there you go. So even though it has a longer distance to travel, it'll be fine because, you know, eventually we'll want to rig all of this up with our electric mining drills and we'll be able to go from there. And so it looks like that's doing okay for right now. Because we're producing 1800 kilowatts at max, I believe, somewhere around there. And oh, actually, are the mining drills not running at full speed? No, they are. I probably need to expand our steam engine setup, though. So we'll need boiler, that goes there, and wait for both of them to finish, and there we go. And we just need a burner inserter. I actually had one, but that's fine. But there we go. So now we are producing some more power. Hopefully try and keep ahead so that way I don't have to, you know, last second come over and focus on actually expanding it. Because I do that a bunch of the time where I just totally forget about it, and then next thing I know I'm like, oh, that's right. They probably aren't working properly because they need more electricity. But alright, so now that we've got a little bit more iron, so what, it can hold 2 and it goes through 1 every 3.2 seconds. So you know, it's like what our inserters work at 302 degrees a second, so it does, you know, roughly like 1 point, I don't know, is it a fifth? Like 1.2 items a second, somewhere around there. Because, you know, even less than that maybe, because, you know, 60 degrees is a sixth of 360. And if it rotates at 302 per second, it's just slightly longer than a second for it to do a full rotation, so let's see. So we know we can support 8. And obviously it was like this will change once we upgrade our furnaces to another level. Because they're going to need, you know, faster belts and stronger input. Or at least stronger throughput, I should say. So I think you can go there, you can go there. But alright, so we'll do that. Oh, this needs to just go down one more. And those will get started. You know, slowly but surely getting myself a good stockpile of iron. And since we can have assembly machines now, I think the first thing I'm going to want to do, I'm definitely going to want to automate the science packs. Definitely want to automate the circuits when I can. So let's focus on, what do I need for that? Okay. So we're just going to set you here for right now, and I think currently I at least want to try and focus on making those. So let's actually get one more. And if we put you there, you get power. We'll have you make gears. So put you in there, and now all I need to do is have that, and there we go. So we'll go ahead and start making gears there. Transport belts here. And this is just like a basic bad setup, so that way I can at least just get started on stockpiling them. I don't have to craft them as much on my own. And we'll actually move the chest over one. There we go. So you can do that. And you know what? Let's actually get 2 more chests. One can go there, one can go there. And then I'll just fill those up with iron for right now, and we'll be able to actually start producing more iron, or more transport belts just kind of as we need it. And, you know, soon I'll actually make like an actual setup for it, but for right now, just because, you know, just starting out, I want to focus on trying not to handcraft everything if I can help it. There we go. I forgot what the keybind was for, you know, quick taking something out of a, you know, out of like an inventory, but if you control left click, you can just instantly take out whatever stockpile you got, which works pretty well, so there we go. And we're still working fine over here. Let's go ahead and grab you. And if we bring stuff up, we don't have to worry about, you know, not being able to expand. So that's normally how I tend to do it. And with the way that this is set up, it'll put onto the outside, and then anything that's put onto here will put onto this, and we'll have both sides of the belt starting to fill up. Go ahead and make myself some more inserters, and we'll start being able to belt the belt our iron belts. And then from there is where we're going to need to start doing stuff with the copper. So let's go ahead and get there. I think we're going to need just one underground belt, so let's make that first right quick, and then we'll go back to making those. There we go. And let's go ahead and set you there. And now I need to completely change up how the power poles are set up because they're not doing us any favors on both sides. I think what I'll do is I'll run a little more over here. That way, hopefully just get some better lines for... There we go. But like, cause, you know, obviously, like, the lines for the power poles are well designed. I just like to... I like to make it neater when I can, while also, you know, not going over the same place 1,000 times. So go ahead and just chill out and pick some of these up. And like I said, it looks like we can at least support 10 on the same line, which is pretty good for us. And now we have more than a good stockpile of belts, and we can go ahead and get rid of that because we got plenty of room to start making or start getting rid of just the basic burners. And I'll start chests over here that can just be for storing random stuff I don't need anymore. So you can go there. Actually, I'll probably need you. There we go. So next thing is, let's go ahead and start getting our copper. Got you. Boom, boom. Yeah, so I was like, the main thing I'm excited with for this game is just, you know, hopefully doing things better than I have in the past and seeing what results from it, because there's a lot of different ways to do things, and I've never really done much with the what is it? I've never done much with a lot of like the efficiency, and I've not gotten a chance to really do much with the main belt system and figuring out how to best make that works and so on and so forth. But you know, so hopefully with the infinite resource patches, I'll give myself a little bit more time to be able to work up to where I want to be, and then also have a little bit of time to be able to work on, you know, making the best setup that I can. I was like, a lot of these types of games are definitely just, you know, trial and error. So it's never a bad thing if you just have to just work and see how it works, and if it doesn't, then, you know, just bring it and rebuild. I was like, you know, that's one of the main reasons why I have so many hours in the game, is because I've just been like, oh, well, I'm just gonna instead of, you know, rebuilding my entire base, I'm just gonna restart. So, you know, you do that enough times, and eventually you just you either figure out some things and get what you want, or you just don't. So, you know, we got plenty of that. We'll go ahead and put some more iron in here. Make sure you've got some more iron, and go from there. You know, all of these are pretty much full up, but if we clear them out real quick, we can see how this moves down the line, which is doing a-okay. So next thing is gonna be getting assembly machines, and I'm gonna need some more stone furnaces. So and we just need to split off from over here. And that way we can start funneling this way. And should be fine to cut through this area, just because, one, we can still access it. We can still access it with our electric mining drills, and then I was like, it's not gonna be too big of a deal because we don't want it to be too close anyways because of the overlap issues. So we'll do that and make one more splitter. There we go. So we'll go ahead and same deal. Yeah, this is gonna be a little dumb, but that's okay. Dumb is the name of the game in Factorio, at least for me. So here we go. And now, we just grab our furnaces. And we'll start here. Go ahead and do 10, just like how we had on the other side. And we need 20 inserters to match because we need one for input on each one and then one for output on each one. And luckily right now we still have plenty of copper, we have plenty of iron, and plenty of belts too. There we go. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just mirror that like that. And then we need to reflect that onto the other side now that we have all of our inserters that we need. Hold on. Let's try and be a little smart about this. So that way now we bring it on like that, and there we go. Cool. And just need one more underground belt. Cool, and now we just need to hook this up to power. There you go. And we'll just put you on the gaps in between. You can go on to here, and boom. So now all of those will be running just fine. And we can run more in parallel, and this should hopefully work better than how it did when I was playing the Shapes playthrough. That's my hope, at least. Because hopefully, if you notice, if you start early on producing, belts and stuff like that, like automating things, you give yourself a lot less stuff to have to craft by hand, which, ends up being really tedious and annoying. And I think my next thing is going to be figuring out how I want to orient my main belt, or my main boss, I should say. Because in one of the playthroughs I did, I was like, oh, I'll just go in this direction. And then next thing I knew, I was having a lot of issues because, cliff sides, you need special bombs to be able to actually break it down. And then, so I had cliff sides right before I ran into water, so then I had to make a lot of landfill in order to fill it. And, if I can avoid terraforming things, I would not be too upset about that. Just because it ends up being a lot of work to do. Now, I do believe if I wanted to avoid having as many issues with the cliff sides, I think I can use underground belts to get around that. But normally what you want to do when you play Factorio is set up your main bus and then just keep it going one direction. So, like if I did west to east, I would go over this way to the right, and then anytime I ever needed to pull off of the main bus, I could go up or down, and I have plenty of space to work with. and so on and so forth. I think starting the main bus will just kind of depend on me looking around and seeing what the best way to go would be. Let's see here. Because obviously, you know, we've got some aliens to the top right, but we do have 2 oil patches, which will be a little helpful. We've got water to the south, so that's probably not a good idea for right now, at least. To the east, I know we've got a lot of cliff sides. You can see that here. The west seems to have less, and there's uranium if we want to be able to access that. So I'm not quite sure about what the best way to go is. I think, honestly, north might be. But I just would need to do a little bit more exploring and figure it out. So we'll kind of just wait and see, but yeah, so now we've got both copper and iron automated, and we actually want to build ourselves some more mining drills. Actually, you know what? Let's see here, because good setup for making circuits is a 3-to-2 ratio for the machine, so you need 1 iron plate and 3 copper cables. So what you do is you set up your 3 assembly machines like this. All of these are going to do copper wire, and then you have 2 offset, and those produce your circuits. You bring the iron plates in to the side, and then you just make sure that, you know, and then you can just start kind of like pumping out the circuits, because you have these 3 taking copper plates, making them into copper wire, and plugging it just directly into the circuit out, or the circuit maker, and then the circuits come out, and then you're good. So I think that's probably one of the first few things you want to just get automated and going are going to be your circuits, because you use that for everything. A lot of the times the iron gear wheels tend to be important, so you'll use that locally. And then obviously, you know, the electric mining drill requires plates, gears, and circuits. So does the assembly machine. So does the lab requires transport belts. But you'll notice like a lot of things share a lot in common. So if you're trying to figure out what you need to build, you want to focus on what you know you'll be using the most. And obviously, our main products, or our main basic products, are going to be iron plates and copper plates. Our 2 most important products are those, and that's why I think in some of the reading I've done, you want to have 8 belts, ideally, of, you know, copper and iron plates and stuff like that, and then you just, you know, pull off and so on and so forth. But yeah, so obviously there's a lot of stuff to consider and work on, and you know, eventually we'll get there. It'll just take a little bit of time, and hopefully I'll be able to kind of hit that snowball effect where everything starts to really kick up a bit. One of the main issues I tend to run into is I get all of like the red and green stuff done, and then I stop getting the blue done, and that becomes an issue. So I also think I'm going to try and take a stab at trains. It's not something I've used too much. I was like, I do understand how they work. However, I would just tend not to make use of them. So we'll see if I can change that for this. But with our copper and iron plate production getting better, I'm going to save. And we're going to go ahead and call the episode here. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on the video, comment if you have anything you'd like to share, say, anything like that. I try my best to engage when I can. And subscribe for when I release more content in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.